Hey everyone, just imagine this for a second. You build something from scratch, a trading floor, a hedge fund, a real estate empire spanning 5 boroughs. You start with a Bloomberg terminal and a cold water office in Midtown. You grind for decades, you create jobs, thousands of them. You generate so much taxable income, that Albany literally rewrites its revenue projection around you. And New York got rich with you. Every year, billions flowing into the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, into the New York City Department of Finance, into the state's general fund, because you were there. And then one day, you quietly pack up, you buy a penthouse in Palm Beach, you tell the press it's about operational efficiency, about talent pipelines, and about being closer to your trading partners in Miami. And maybe that's even partially true. But then the Form IT 203 gets filed, the New York non-resident return, and the math comes out. And suddenly, it's not about talent pipeline at all. There's one number buried in this story that nobody in Albany is talking about. Not governor, not the New York City Council, not even most of the financial press covering Wall Street. The NYC Comptroller Office released data in May 2026, confirming a $2.2 billion current year shortfall and a projected 10.4 billion structural deficit gap in 2027. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what's draining the most powerful tax base in Western Hemisphere and why it should terrify you even if you have never set foot in New York. And trust me, this pattern is already in your city's budget projections. Hit subscribe and let's get into it. Okay, so late 2022, Ken Griffin, the guy who runs Citadel, one of the most profitable hedge funds ever, he announces he's moving the whole operation from Chicago to Miami. And publicly, he's talking about Florida business climate, talent, all that. Okay, fine. But here's what was actually going behind this. Illinois had just locked 4.95% flat income tax. And there were proposals floating around in Springfield that could have pushed the top rate above 9%. Now Griffin, Bloomberg reported his personal payout from Citadel was over $4 billion in a single year. So yeah, he did the math. Florida top rate income, zero. Capital gains, zero. Let me start with something that happened in Chicago. Citadel, one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, packed up and left by 2023. And not just the hedge fund, Citadel Securities too. The firm handling 25% of all US equity trading gone. And it wasn't just one company leaving. Think about everything that goes with a firm like that. The analysts, the lawyers, the restaurants, those midnight orders gone with them. I call this Citadel Signal. And New York saw it happen and did absolutely nothing about it. Now here's what connects Chicago to New York. Different cities, same problem. There is a term for it, high concentration tax dependency, which means a tiny group of people paying a massive chunk of your bills, and that tiny group can leave whenever they want. That's not a budget, that's a bet. Chicago lost that bet. New York looked at all of this and said, that won't happen to us, except that it already happened to them. IRS data from 2023, New York lost $14.2 billion in adjusted gross income in one single year, just from people going out. Florida got 9 billion of that, Texas 2.3 billion. This is not retirees chasing sunshine. This is serious capital leaving the state. So what did New York do? They just raised taxes. They pushed combined city and state rate up to 14.7%, highest in the entire country. The SAL deduction has been capped at $10,000. You feel every single dollar of it. So, did raising taxes fixes anything? No, it only means that people leaving faster. Here's the number that just makes everyone nervous. New York has 8 million tax filers. Around 81,000 of them, the top 1%, generate 41% of the all state income tax. In the city, specifically, the top 1% cover 50% of all the city income tax collection. 1%, 50%. These are not people who are stuck. They have private planes, tax lawyers who can legally move to Florida in 30 days, and they stop owing New York anything at all. The city's own comptroller report this year literally admits it. Too much revenue depends on too few people. This is what the New York own comptroller has admitted that. They know, they wrote it down, and then they propose more taxes on those same people. In just first quarter of 2026, New York lost 4,200 households earning above 500K. Each one was paying an average $187,000 a year in taxes. It's almost $800 million a year gone in 3 months. So now here's the raw math behind all of this. A family making 500 grand moves from New York City to Miami. They save $73,000 a year in taxes alone. Over 20 years, that's close to $3 million just from moving alone. At the Ken Griffin level, the moving truck pays for itself in days. 4,200 high earning households gone in one quarter. $800 million in annual revenue gone with them. A $10 billion deficit coming, the highest tax rate in the country, and more hikes on the way. That's not a rough patch. That's a system slowly breaking. So I will ask you directly, especially if you are in New York, are you seeing this? People leaving your building, your offices, your neighborhood. And honestly, do you think 14.7% makes sense given what the city's own numbers are showing? Drop it in comments, hit like and subscribe. If this gave you something real to think about, see you next time.